안녕하세요, it's me Isabella, and so I'm wearing a traditional Korean dress, and it is very long, I can tell you that. So I'm wearing flowers, a ribbon, and I have a very long red dress at the bottom. And 안녕하세요 means hello in Korean because I'm a mix of American and Korean. So today we're reading One Bean, read by Anne Rockwell, illustrations by Megan Hosley. Let's get to it. I had one bean. It was dry and smooth and very, very hard. I put it in a wet paper towel. I covered it with another paper towel. Soon its skin had turned all wrinkly. This is what it looks like. My bean had gotten fatter too. I think it got too fat for its skin because its skin was split. It meant it was time to plant my bean. I filled up a paper cup with black potting soil. Then I laid my fat, wrinkly bean in the cup and covered it with lots of soil. I watered it when the soil was dry. Even though I couldn't see my bean under the black, damp soil, I watched it every day. Look, it's growing a root. Then one day, just like the story, Jack and the beanstalk, a greenish, whitish stalk poked up from the soil. My bean was dangling from the end of it. Look at that, it grew. Soon 2 leaves grew on my bean plant. These were shaped like Valentine's hearts. Here, I'm gonna turn it to the side for you so it looks like, see, it kind of does, except it doesn't have the curve. It actually does though. More heart-shaped leaves sprouted. My plant grew bigger and bigger. I needed a bigger pot for it to grow. Like I started from a small one to medium to large. I filled a flower pot with potting soil very gently and carefully. I took one bean with its bright green leaves and roots spreading through the black moist soil. I put it out of the paper cup and I planted it in a flower pot where it could stay. So what they're doing is they're picking up this from that, and then they're putting it in this big flower pot. Sun shined on it, and that made my bean plants grow some more. One day, I saw lots of green lumps on my bean plant. Those little lumps were buds, which means flowers were gonna grow. Right here, those are the lumps for the buds. And lots of buds burst open, and a lot of white flowers blossomed among the green leaves. Then, when the white flowers hung off, tiny bean pods hung to their place. Before long, there were lots of bean pods growing on my beautiful bean plants. Look at that, it grew some beans. I think they're peas instead of beans, but I don't really know. Yep, they're beans. Those tiny bean pods grew bigger inside. One day, I picked it open. I split it open and looked inside. What do you think I saw? I saw some smooth, shiny beans shaped like the ones that had started all. This is what it looked like. Let's go to the front of the book to see. Let's compare this to the front one. So let's compare this. Sorry guys, I have to go to the front of the page. To this. Looks almost the same. Oh wait, let's go back. Looks the same, doesn't it? I picked a few pods and ate them. The beans grew inside them, and they were very, very good. Look, he's eating one, and the little sister's planting one too. The end. 1, 2, and 3. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Click the bell icon. Also, if you want me to read more books like this, comment down below, okay? I love you guys. Bye.
It's okay.
Annyeong.
That means hello. Annyeong means.
Annyeonghaseyo is a very polite way. Okay, now I get it. It started like any ordinary day in Miss Frizzle's class. But that doesn't mean much. There aren't any ordinary days in Miss Frizzle's class. Good morning, class! That morning we were trying to put the pieces together for an enormous globe, but we didn't have all the pieces, so the whole thing fell apart. Carlos, said Dorothy Ann, her nose in her instruction book, if you spent more time on research, you wouldn't know how to put this together. Carlos dusted himself off. And if you didn't spend so much time on research, you would have helped, he answered. Miss Frizzle looked over the mess. I'm afraid you can't put that globe together unless you have all the pieces, she said. You see, there's a new island so new it hasn't been discovered yet. How can there be a new island? Asked Phoebe. The earth never changes, does it? The earth is changing all the time, says Miss Frizzle, and it's right under your feet. We all looked down at our feet, but nothing was moving. We never broke the world in my old school. What's the island's name? How can it have a name if it hasn't been discovered? Dorothy Ann wanted to find clues in her mystery books, but Carlos wanted us for the mystery island. That way we could name it. What an explosive idea, says Miss Frizzle happily. To the bus. Oh no, not another field trip. This is your captain speaking, announced Miss Frizzle. Then we settled on board. On behalf flight crew, I wanted to thank you for flying the magic school bus. And we knew what that meant. Quickly, we fastened our seatbelts and we put our seatbelts in upright position. Why does this always happen? This dude right here does not like going on adventures. He just wants to stay and have a normal teacher and have a normal school day. The magic school bus began to spin, stretch, and pull, and next thing we knew, we were high in the air. We'll name it Carlos Island. Forget it. How about Dorothy Ann Island? Soon we were flying over the ocean. The sky grew dark, and big black clouds floated past. The island should arrive any minute now, announced Miss Frizzle. How can an island just arrive, we wondered. But then a thunder boomed and lightning streaked across the sky. The ocean beneath us bubbled like a pot of boiling water. Out of nowhere, a blanket of dark ash covered our windows. Prepare to land, shouted Miss Frizzle. Hang 10, bus. Ah, no! The bus grew surfboards, pontoons, and we surfed to a stop on top of the water. We climbed off the bus and there were no lamps anywhere in sight. But Miss Frizzle had a big splash idea. And then there was an inflatable raft. Carlos jumps in first. Splash! It had made a wave flashing over the pontoon, and then sent Dorothy Ann's book flying into sea. I need my books to find that island, wailed Dorothy Ann as the book sank. We have to get them, please, Miss Frizzles, please. Can we just go to a bookstore? Of course we'll get them, agreed Miss Frizzle. Prepare to die, class. Everybody climbed back onto the school bus, and then the Frizz pressed a button, and the magic school bus twisted and turned it and made it into a submarine. Okay. Carlos decided to stay on the raft. He wanted to be the first to spot the new island. Arnold stayed too, but for another reason. He already had enough of the field trip. My certified teaching lizard will keep an eye on you, said Miss Frizzle. Ooh, we're gonna have to read the book like this now. They waved goodbye to Carlos, Arnold, and Liz, buckled up their life jackets, and battered down the hatches. The Frizz called loudly. Well, this is what they actually said. Batter down the hatches, the Frizz called loudly, and down, down, down they went. Okay. Wow, we couldn't believe what we saw, a huge underwater mountain. Dorothy Ann spotted her book bag right away. It floated past the window on the way to the ocean floor and landed onto an old shipwreck. Step on it, please, Miss Frizzle. Bottoms up. Okay, so I'll show you the top part. The raft is up top and a huge underwater mountain going down here to the bus. The bus scrunched up tight, then it shot like cannon. Good thing we had our special diving suits. Dorothy Ann swam over her book bag, but the strap was looped around a giant tentacle squid. Ah! Dorothy Ann screamed. The squid is swimming away, and it has my bag. Just then, the ocean floor began to tremble. The ship started to shake, and a loud trembling noise. Earthquake! We were so surprised we didn't see Dorothy Ann's book bag float past, and upwards the gas bubbles. The bubbles floated to the top of the sea. The bubbles burst, letting out a terrible smell. Look, cried Carlos as he snatched up Dorothy Ann's book bag. Maybe we can find out what's going on by reading Dorothy Ann's books. Pew, said Arnold. Meanwhile, the Frizz was trying to cheer up Dorothy Ann. There's more way to discover an island, she said brightly. So we all dived deeper into the ocean. Brr, it was getting cold. Even the bus shivered. Then we noticed something strange. There were funny poking chimneys from the ground, and they were warm. Phoebe stuck her head in it, and poof, a face full of soot. Ha ha! Maybe there's some heat in those chimneys from underneath. Keisha swam over the cannon from the ocean floor. It's shaped like a V, though. Maybe D.A.'s books fell down there, she said. There's only one way to find out, said Miss Frizzle. We swam to the bus. Soon we were heading out to the canyon. But there's no space for us down there. Smashing observations, Tim. Hi, my hyper little brother William. Say hi. Hi. You're so silly, aren't you? Yeah. Do you smell that? Yeah. What does it smell like? What does it smell like?
Give me kissy.
I smell like food.
Hug.
It's more like food.
หัวขึ้นมีท้อง
Just
ขึ้น
hug, please, nicely. Don't do that. Just relax. Hug, bud.
I love you.